Welcome to Celebrating Life with Music. I'm here with Peter Stickle again. Is this fun or what?
Too much fun.
Too much fun.
People
Absolutely
will talk.
Too much fun. We're talking about winter, holidays, Christmas in specific, and how strong the music part of that holiday is. I mean, I have friends who can't wait for Thanksgiving to be over so they can start pumping Christmas music forever, you know, for a month.
It's true. People don't get tired of it.
They don't.
And it's on and it's on and it's on. But fortunately, there is a lot of wonderful music. And so when we're asked to participate in an event with music, we have terrific arrangements of a lot of different music that's associated with the event. So we can do quite a number of things.
Would your typical fare be deck the halls with boughs of holly and that kind of thing? Or would it be more classical that we would not normally consider something you'd sing along with?
Well, there's a wide variety, so it depends on the event itself. But some people are actually looking for vocal music. They're looking for some kind of performance with singers. And so in that case, we can provide the singers and the instruments or their backup. But normally we're doing instrumental music, and they will give us a range of things. They'll say, we want holiday, you know, this and that, whatever. Sometimes if it has a religious, if the event is a religious event, then we will sort of course, lean towards the music associated with, if it's Christian music, then we can do, you know, some Christian Christmas music, as well as some secular. If it's an office party or something like that, they might just ask for a variety of things that include Christmas carols and go all the way through, oh my gosh.
Mommy Kissing Santa Claus, that kind of stuff.
All that kind of, you know, more secular Christmas music, Nutcracker arrangements. I mean, people really love, there's some wonderful arrangements of Nutcracker excerpts for strings that people absolutely love, and that's a strong association with Christmas.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, there's a lot we can do, and there are a lot of different, again, instrumental combinations. And it goes right up to, I must say, because I'm always an advocate for this, a big pops orchestra, which we do once in a while, even a conducted orchestra, we can do kind of a Christmas pops, which we've done for conventions or, you know, other kinds of big corporate events. Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
Now, do you ever do, I don't know whether this is tacky or not, I just think it's fun. Do you ever give people jingle bells to jingle with the music, or get some participation from people?
Well, I will admit that we own a couple of sets of jingle bells. Bells that are, I mean, they're orchestral bells that are intended to, you know, they probably have about 3 different uses, right? One is Leroy Anderson's Sleigh Ride,
yes, of course.
which
ding, 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 ding.
I never tire of.
Yes.
It has a bells part,
Yes.
and so if you have somebody who has rhythm and maybe otherwise not a whole lot of other musical experts, there are times when you stop, so you really have to count measures. But there's a bells part for that. There is also a slapstick play. So there's 4 of those. So that's the person that's even just a hair less talented than the bells.
Well, they have to be listening, though, because to miss it is really a mess.
Yeah. You have to count to do that.
Yes, you do.
But you otherwise not to be too musical. We did have a disaster with the slapstick at one point, because our very musical person who was playing it at a Pops concert for us didn't realize that there was a way that it needed to work with gravity. And when it goes, you know, you sort of can feel
boom,
this, and then you can, you know, you can control it that way. But as soon as you put it sideways and it goes out of gravity, it's like being in the space shuttle, and it no longer behaves.
Oh, it has a life of its own. I hate instruments that do that.
You hate it when that happens, don't you? Yeah.
Well, I've been part of a kazoo orchestra a number of times at Christmas time, which is really fun, and several people I know have that as a tradition in their family, that somebody plays the piano and instead of singing, you hum along on a kazoo. It's hysterical. It's really fun, and it actually sounds good if you get people who can do harmony. It becomes really fun. But I imagine you don't incorporate kazoos in what you do either?
I do now.
Darn.
Now that you mentioned it.
Because actually, a
Can I
kazoo
borrow
is a
that?
wonderful sound.
Yeah.
It
Well,
has that nice little
It's
specialness.
the texture, yeah. By itself, I might not be a big fan of a single
Uh-huh.
kazoo, but multiple kazoos, I can really see having the kind of texture,
Yes.
like a kind of a cluster of kazoos.
Okay, I'm waiting. Next Christmas,
that's the
I
noun
want
of venery.
kazoos.
Okay,
Not
we're going
everywhere,
to.
of course.
Well, but to agree with you in a different way, audience participation is really nice.
Mhm.
So if you do get, yeah, I mean, if there are songs that people like, you know, they will want to sing along, or it's toe tapping time.
Yes.
But there's some other holiday connected music that has other associations. The Handel Messiah, that's another
Yes.
big favorite at the holidays, and there are arrangements, instrumental arrangements of parts of the Hallelujah chorus.
Yes.
I mean, people will stop what they're doing and listen to that, and it generally has a lot of nice associations.
It
all
does.
of this music for people.
It does. Well, Christmas music is uplifting. Period. I mean, that's sort of the underscore of Christmas music, that it has
It
a
sure is.
joyous core to it, and it's celebratory in itself. It's celebrating not only the holiday, but many religious monuments also. And so you can't help but be happy. I think sometimes in our modern world, it has become so pecuniary in nature that we lose track of the fact that it is, in fact, a celebration. It's not about presents that outdo everybody else's or any of that. It really is a celebration of the season. You can look at it from pagan points of view. You can look at it from just the general, isn't this a cool time of year with the snow and the great music, or to the religious part of it.
Exactly, and the secular music. I'm trying to think of the name of the what's the Christmas song about? It was originally a Thanksgiving.
Bigger than a bread box. Give me a little, a little.
No,
hint.
it was written. It was yeah, okay. No, it was written here. It was written locally. I'll tell you the story about it, and I can't think of the name of it. It was written for. It's not Over the River and Through the Woods, but it was written for. It was written by a fellow in Medford. Actually, he was the music director of Unitarian Church in Savannah after a while. But he wrote it because there were what would they call them? They were sleigh races, basically. This
Yes.
was this is a way of the young men picking up girls.
You know,
in
we
the
used
old
to have them in
days.
Wakefield. Did you know that?
No, I
Yes,
didn't.
across the lake.
And
They had races.
well, initially, okay. Well, these were initially from Medford Square to Malden Square.
Uh-huh.
They went, and it's just
It's escaping.
jumping out of my head. This very famous.
Well, let's not dwell on it. We'll figure out
song.
what it is, and we'll
Yeah,
run a little
and-
banner below your name. that
And
says
we
it.
will play it. We will play it for you in a few minutes. So how's that?
Oh, great!
Yeah,
well,
that's
will,
my
that
promise.
Will solve, that will solve the
That'll
issue.
solve the issue.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Well, I went to school in Detroit with a boy whose father wrote I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus. And he used to say, he was a paper boy, and he would come out to the door at the holiday season and say, "We're just making money hand over fist."
Oh, yeah.
Which
Oh,
was
yeah.
probably what his father said every time he heard it on the radio or whatever. But I love the secular Christmas music too, because it tends to be funny. It tends to have a funny side of it. The one about All I Want Is a Mink Coat, I can't remember exactly how that one goes either.
Oh, yeah,
you know, But
yeah.
Santa Baby.
Right.
And so they're theatrical. Unlike, Easter music is not theatrical really in itself, but people can have a wonderful time singing them and ham it up, and everybody loves it. So it becomes almost a combination of celebration from the music. The music itself is entertaining and therefore draws everybody else into it.
Right.
So it is special.
It's perfect. It's perfect for a party,
It
and it
is.
really lifts people at a time when, ironically, the days are very short
Yes.
and they tend to be cold and
Yeah.
all of this.
And dark.
It's dark, and it's a very warm and upbeat way to be with this music.
So let's hear some of it.
So okay, here it
Okay.
comes.
Summer events and music, I mean, what goes together better than that?
Well, that's for sure. I mean, there are just so many beautiful outdoor settings, and then music just tends to bring it all alive. And I mean, one set of those places is when people are very proud of their own
Sure.
lawn, their
They
own
spend
back
a fortune
door.
on their lawn and their plantings.
They do, and they're gonna darn well show it off.
Yes, we are. The first thing that comes to mind, and I know this is going to seem really strange, is what do you do if you're a musician and you have hay fever or serious allergies to grass and things like that? Do you just not work in the summer, or do you really take a lot of medication
You know, that's a
to keep your
great
focus?
It's a great question. I am not personally affected by it that much, and I'm not entirely sure of the answer, but I do know I have some colleagues that are always having to prep themselves for,
Yes.
for all the outdoor gigs, where you really don't know what's going to show up. And I mean, there are some beautiful settings out there where people will have events, you know, that are down in the Cape and next to the swamp and whatnot,
Yes.
and things are crawling out of the swamp. Yeah, so you're next to the pond or the swimming
There's a
pool,
turtle
and
on my
there's
foot.
a turtle, there's an alligator. Yeah, no, so we're running into all kinds of flora and fauna, and we don't know what. I'll admit, I think what tends to happen is that my colleagues are well medicated, so we try to stay on music that they're very familiar with.
Yes. Because I can imagine, I mean, you're dealing with the same kinds of things that we mentioned earlier. You have wind to contend with, you have heat, sometimes oppressive heat with no wind, which
Exactly.
is also a problem. And then all of the pollen and other things that are
Right.
around that you can't do anything about.
There-
You really have to be able to focus.
There's all the
On what
weather.
you're doing.
There's all the weather. There's all the spores and stuff like that, and then there's the critters.
Yes.
You
The
know,
critters,
flying
yes.
critters, the
Flying
ones that
critters.
want to sting you while you're right in the middle of a solo.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so this is all a big challenge, but we know that we're a
Yeah.
critical part of people having a good time at this time of year.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got a ton of music that's good for it too. Very light music. Mozart wrote divertimentos. Well, what were they for? They were for people
For diversion.
diversion, sitting around after dinner and, you know, out in a nice setting. And yes, there's a lot of gorgeous classical music, and then of course all the popular music and traditional music styles and all the things that we're very lucky to have collected over the years to be able to play. The Gershwin and the Cole Porter and the Harold
Yes.
Arlen and the Duke Ellington and the rags, Joplin rags, which
Yes.
are a ton of fun, and it's very very nice for people to sort of very buoyant underneath
Yes.
whatever happens to be going on,
Yes.
unless somebody's falling in the swimming pool or something.
Well, that always happens anyway, so that's just sort of part of the evening.
Yeah, that's expected, and we don't want that to be we.
Mm-hmm.
You
don't want it to be
so-
you. Yes,
yeah,
that's
so
true.
we don't want to be sitting
Very
next
bad
to
for
the
the
pool.
instrument
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Not a great thing for
Yeah,
that.
kind of lousy. But besides, if you don't mind my saying so, besides these sort of beautiful outdoor settings that that people can find, or else their own backyard,
Mm-hmm.
there are also the gorgeous mansions and historic houses
Yes.
that we have the great privilege of getting to be inside. And this is a little off the subject because it was a winter time, but a group I play with called the New England Tenors is doing some playing at the Breakers down in Newport.
In Newport, yes.
And inside, but there are also outside options, which I think we'll be doing. So a lot of the people with the extra cash built their castles on the water.
Mhm,
So
sure.
we have water views. And,
Absolutely.
And
all the Newport mansions, almost all of them are on the water.
Right.
And some of them have been converted. Ocean Cliff in particular has been made into a fantastic venue for music, for gaiety, with the Great Gatsby having such a great revival now. I'm wondering if you're going to see a lot more business in the summer as a result of seeing in a cinematic way these fabulous, fabulous celebrations that are outside. Makes you kind of start to think about it again. I never do parties outside. Maybe I should be doing that more.
Right. And as the economy gets better, I think people are looking to, to have a little bit more elaborate celebrations
Yes.
again.
Yes. Good for
So-
you.
So
Very good
it
for
is.
your
It
business.
is good. It is good for us. Yeah.
And fun. Do you ever get themes in the summer where somebody comes up and says, there's a theme to this party and we want you to select music that fits within that theme?
Yep. We do. And you're going to ask me for an example of that.
Well, I can if you want me to. I actually hadn't planned on it because you didn't look like you had one. So.
Yeah. No. But I mean, we're asked that all the time. We want, will we be given a framework or a range of music to do? And
well, it could be the 1920s.
well, a lot of times, exactly. I was just going to say it's an historic period.
Yes.
That's very common.
And
Yeah.
lots of music, thank heavens.
And there was a ton of music, American music. There's a lot of American music going back a century and a little bit more.
Yes.
After that, we were really borrowing from Europe.
Yes, it's true.
But we had our own music by the turn of the century, and the early jazz, and of course the Joplin rags and all of that. And then all of a sudden, Broadway was big, and that was ours, and all the standards that kind of crossed over into jazz and pop. And American music is very much a 20th century phenomenon.
Yes.
So we can,
And
so
prolific.
we can tie into a time period, and people will do that. And actually, that gets me remembering or thinking of, sort of a category of parties that's very common. That's anniversary parties, and people will often want to hark back to their, to the time period of when they got married. So it might be 50 years ago or 30 years ago or something like that. I'm just waiting for them to ask me for 80s music, which actually my partner in Presto Music, John Bumstead, is an expert in 80s music, so we're all set.
Oh, that's
It was
lucky.
a little bit of a dark age
Yes.
for me. For some reason, I was not listening to the radio in the 80s, and I don't know 80s music. But 60s music, I'm all over.
Yes.
Oh, did I just date myself?
No, you just said 60s music. If you'd said 20s music, no one would have thought anything of it. So don't worry about it. I think there are definitely periods in music where we have songs that stay with us for some reason, not necessarily because of our generation, but because they have staying power themselves. Cole Porter has tons of them that follow. Oscar Hammerstein had tons of them too, where all you hear is the first three lines or the first three notes, and you're humming along immediately.
And more recently to that is the Beatles, and we find that young people of all ages, from the age that you would expect to have been into the Beatles, ever since people fall in love generation after generation with the Beatles. So naturally we have arrangements of those, and that's some of our favorite music to play as well.
Isn't it interesting that they're considered classics? when they're actually
yeah.
not very old. But there was something about their voice. There was something
Well, they're getting to be
about,
50 years old, and so yeah.
well,
they're
are
getting,
you antique after 50? I don't know. That's a scary thought, actually.
No, but I think it's becoming that, and then a lot of the musical, songs from musicals in the 70s and 80s
Yes.
have also become standards like that. Yeah, so Andrew Lloyd Webber and things like that. We get requests for all kinds of events for Andrew Lloyd Webber music.
I love the idea that we're talking about music within our lifetime, in most cases, and we're talking a string quartet, or we're talking classical instruments doing this music, which makes it different and special just on that level alone, which is really, really nice.
Well, I think people love hearing it, and then a lot of the music, it turns out, actually had strings in the arrangements. That's one reason
very
that
much so.
Beatles
Yes.
music works so well.
Yes.
Or Simon and Garfunkel's, Bridge Over Troubled Waters has
A lot of
beautiful
strings.
cello lines
Yes.
in it. So we will find, sometimes the best composers and arrangers have already, they anticipated
They
are
were
taking
thinking ahead.
an interest in this music for people's parties.
Well, it's time to hear some of it.
Okay.
Great.
Here
Thank
it
you.
comes. You're very welcome. Thank you.
Bye.